Dude, we just got it done on a giant bird. Giant bird. Oh my goodness. We're in the game. We got a tom right up the hill from us. The only birds we've heard this morning are really far away, so just stay patient and see what happens. Opening day, the action was really slow until about mid-morning, and we got a tom fired up and we called him into the field, but he hung up and did not come close enough for a shot. The second hunt of the year, we saw a tom shortly after he came off the roost. He moved into a thicket with some hens. We moved in close, set up, called to him, but eventually he moved off in the opposite direction. A few days later, I watched a group of jakes and a tom work their way into a woodlot, and I waited till they were out of sight, and I moved in really close, and I set up and started to call. It had been about 15 minutes since I called last, and I was about to give up. I stood up to leave, and I heard this tom gobble right over the rise about 50 yards away. I lightly called, and about 30 seconds later his bright blue head popped up over the rise. Unfortunately, I rushed the shot and I missed the turkey at 10 yards. I tried to look at the positives, and I was happy to actually be able to call this turkey to within 10 yards. After missing that tom, I hunted a few days without seeing or hearing a turkey. On this particular hunt, I was working along a fence line and calling down into the timber below me. I came to a point and I heard a tom gobble up ahead a couple hundred yards away. I sat down and got ready for the shot. Something in my gut told me that I needed to be a little more aggressive. I saw some hay bales up in front of me, and I ran to the hay bales, and the tom was just on the other side of the hay bales. I made a good shot, but I didn't get any of it on camera. I was really happy with my decision to be aggressive with this tom. Oh, freaking did it. Hey Pook. I got it. I got me a big turkey, but I never would have killed this one with the recurve. He was playing hard to get, but I'd smoked him with my gun, Wiki. It might be the same one I missed, because I'm only about 75 yards from. He came out of the same woodlot to the one I missed the other day. I don't know if it's a rematch or not, but from a couple hundred yards from where I missed the bird the other day, and I called, and I was like, oh, nothing. And I started walking. I took a few steps, and a bird gobbled on this exact same spot where I missed the bird the other day. So I take off running in the direction, and there was a clump of hay bales in the middle of the field. So I got up, and by the time I got to the hay bales, he was like 50 yards away and coming. And I didn't have time to turn any cameras on, but after a few straight hunts with no turkey action, I felt very blessed and very fortunate to be able to harvest this big tom. Good morning, folks. It's about 10 a.m. and I got a couple hours to hunt here, and I'm not looking to do anything too crazy. I'm just going to move and call. I'm going to go about 50 to 75 yards and call, and I'm going to see if I can find a tom that wants to play the game. And if I do, I'm going to try to call him in. If I don't, I'm going to go eat lunch, and it's going to be a good day either way. So come along, and we'll see if we can get a hot and bothered tom on to gobble at us. I worked my way up a wooded valley, calling about every 50 yards. I traveled in one direction about 300 yards. I didn't hear any gobbles, so I turned around and retraced my steps. I got back to the spot I originally called from about an hour later. I lightly called, and a tom hammered back immediately, less than 100 yards away. The tom sounded like he was heading away from me and losing interest. I got up and I walked directly away from him about 40 yards and sat back down. Got it done. We got it done. Oh shoot. Dude, we just got it done on a giant bird. Wow, this GoPro is still going. I hope it got all that. Wow. It took this tom over 30 minutes to close the last 50 yards and come within range. I'm learning more about these creatures every year. I'm excited and optimistic about what the future holds. As I look back and reflect on this turkey season, I was able to capture a lot of beautiful footage. It reminds me of a Bible verse, Romans chapter 1, verse 20. For since the creation of the world, God's invisible qualities, his eternal power and divine nature, have been clearly seen, being understood from what has been made, so that people are without excuse. When I observe and interact with nature, and I get to enjoy God's beautiful creation, it confirms deep within me that God, the great creator, certainly does exist.
Josh, can you show us how to cross the electric fence? Nice. Did that hurt?
No turkey.
No turkey. Did that hurt?
Ow.
Ow.